talk about Tom Brady enough. He is off to a crazy start to 2021. He's 44 years old, and he leads the NFL in pass yards, second behind only Patrick Mahomes for passing touchdowns. Mike Evans was asked yesterday about how often he thinks about the greatness of Tom Brady when he's out there, and here's what he had to say.
I mean, all the time. What he does is crazy, especially at his age and the level of play that he's been able to sustain for such a long time. It's unreal, and I don't think we'll ever see it again.
It's true. What Brady's doing this season, unheard of. He's blowing these other 44-year-olds out of the water historically, but his numbers this season are tops of almost every single category. I mean, Evans is catching touchdowns. It's insane what's going on. If Tom Brady somehow wins the MVP this season, where does that stack up as far as like greatest feats in his career? Is this even the conversation? I don't know. I just feel like we need to give Brady love.
Yeah, right. And like, if he wins the MVP, does he then get that? We say that's the greatest feat of his career. Then he wins another Super Bowl, and we're like, no, that's the greatest feat of his career. Then next year wins another MVP. No, that one.
At 45.
I don't know how many times we can rip up the pages on, this is amazing, but what he's doing is incredible. What I find so fascinating is we watch these games, and on Sunday it was a cool one where you had Romo and Nance doing the game. It's not often that we get an NFC team on CBS, and especially those guys. And it's like, wow, Brady is significantly older than Tony Romo, and Romo's calling his games. And you've got Mark Sanchez in the booth now, and you've got Jonathan Vilma in the booth, and you've got all these other people who are significantly younger than the quarterback that they're oohing and eyeing over.
That's pretty cool.
It's a fascinating dynamic, and I know that 45 or 50, we're not sure what it is. Let's appreciate 44. It's insane what Tom Brady's doing right now, and he looks as good as ever.
He does.
Yeah, I mean, Tom Brady's amazing. I mean, I thought he was amazing 4 or 5 years ago, and to see him continue down this road. We knew that Tom Brady this year had the opportunity to do something special. If you watch how this team played last year and the chemistry, as how they got better and better as the season went on, you knew, oh man, the workhorse that Tom Brady is, this team has a chance to really be scary. But I think the biggest feat was last year. I mean, just everything they had to overcome with COVID, with not having, a typical offseason to really work out all that chemistry, and to ultimately come out and win the Super Bowl, that's Tom's measuring stick. It's MVPs are cool and they're great, but Tom wants to sit in front of you and flash those rings. And so to get 7, I thought was the greatest accomplishment anybody could ever think of for Tom Brady.
28-3? Greater feat for Tom Brady? Winning without Belichick and a new team, was that greater to you than 28-3? Tell me.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
Why?
Yes, just because I was one of those ones who thought it was all about Belichick as well. I didn't give Tom the amount of respect he probably deserved, so I apologize for that.
28-3 is because Kyle Shanahan didn't run the ball.
Yes, he should have ran it.
That's because Matt Ryan didn't do these things. That's a footnote. I love 28-3, but the answer is absolutely a resounding yes. It would be his most impressive if he won the MVP, because D. Hall, you know this, he won the Super Bowl a lot last year because of Devin White and Jason Pierre-Paul. That was a great team, and the Chiefs had no linemen. If he wins the MVP in the era when we have the best quarterbacks we've ever had and passing records being broken left to right, and he's 44, yes, it would be. However, my final answer to this is that his greatest accomplishment is still 4 years away. It's the 2025 season, and he has a date with destiny. And bring me the picture. This is the man he is chasing. This will be his greatest accomplishment. That's George Blanda in an NFL game. Oldest player of all time. Tom Brady still has 4 years left to go. When he gets that, he can finally rest.
Kyle, having done the show, I thought you were going to show a picture of Arch Manning and say, when he beats Arch Manning,
he'll beat Arch too.
That is when we'll know.
He's George Blanda's age, beating Arch Manning, the rookie, in the Super Bowl, then it's like, Tom, you're out of here. Go. That's the accomplishment.
We laugh, but I think it's going to happen. Okay, what are your thoughts? At GMFB, we're also going to talk about which quarterback's playing the best football right now. Is it Tom Brady? Anybody playing better? I don't know. Lamar looked pretty good last night. Justin Herbert looks pretty good too. Coming up, we will show you those highlights from the Ravens. Thriller, comeback, epic, magic on the field over the Colts. We'll break down Lamar's big night, plus John Gruden's resignation. Says play, especially in daily fantasy, with 4 teams off, all the injuries at the position, the upside absolutely worth taking a swing. All right, how about the Giants running back Devontae Booker? Booker needs to be owned. He needs to be rostered. He finished in the top 20 at running back after Saquon's injury. He had 19 touches, and he punched in 2 scores on the day. So if Saquon's out, let's say just a few weeks. Booker is a must-add, and I wouldn't drop him either given the injury history with the Giants. Okay, next up, let's go back to the Bears. I told you they got the Packers. Running back Khalil Herbert. All eyes were on Damien Williams after David Montgomery and his injury, but it's been a pretty even split so far. Herbert actually took more snaps. He had 53% of the reps in the Bears backfield, and he was solid last week. The numbers are great. 18 carries, 75 yards. I think anybody getting that kind of volume absolutely has to be rostered. And at this time in the season, when bye weeks and injuries start creeping up, running back is the spot where you need the most depth, of course. At wide receiver, Giants first rounder, Kadarius Toney. What can't he do? He's just fun to watch. He's the kind of guy you just want on your fantasy team because you want a reason to watch his games and watch these insane plays that he makes and things that he does with his body. He's dealing with a bit of an ankle injury. We should tell you that, but it sounds like it shouldn't keep him out more than a week at most. If it does, that will, I mean, it'll be worth the wait. Over the last 2 weeks, the rookie has averaged 8 catches and 137.5 total yards per game. He certainly looks the part, should be a major factor in this offense going forward, an offense that is riddled with injuries to their pass catchers. Now, lastly, at tight end, Hunter Henry, who is so proud of his team in their win. He's the Patriots tight end. After a slow start to this season, he's really become real involved. Part of the New England's offense. The New England's offense, I decided. Over the last 2 weeks, he's racked up 10 catches for 107 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Unintended for public consumption, and he did not have a racist bone in his body.
All right, let's take a quick look at the list here and tell you who we got. 2 Bears going up against the Packers, Justin Fields and Khalil Herbert, Devontae Booker, Kadarius Toney. With the Giants, should get tons of targets, and he does a lot with them, and Hunter Henry. And you kind of put Kadarius Toney on the map for me.
And it was the full experience on Sunday, both good and bad. He punched one of the Cowboys players, gets ejected from the game, and then comes out and apologizes like this guy is one of these players where
he should get extra points for that.
So emotional. And I know a lot of Giants fans are like, good, someone show some toughness here. You can't be punching players on the field. And yet he is electric. They had him returning kicks. Like, this guy is doing it all, and it's a shame that it has to be that way because, okay, they are so riddled with injuries.
Yeah, Kadarius Toney is an absolute stud, and you did get every kind of angle. I saw Joe Judge running on the field, grabbing him. I love to fight in him, but I'm just like, you can't do that in that particular instance. But
second career game.
I know. I love the Justin Herbert pick, though. I tell you what, I just think that kid's going to continue to grow. The dual threat ability with his legs. No, I'm talking about, what did I say? Justin Herbert. I'm sorry, I meant Justin Fields.
Basically, if your last name is Herbert, you're a stud.
I got a text Sunday night from my brother, and he goes, dude, Herbert was awesome today. I'm like, yeah, no kidding. I watched the Chargers game. He's like, no. Our Herbert. My brother's a Bears fan. Like, I was like, and he looked way better than 18 for 75. Burst, fast. Like, he looked excellent. I don't know if they'll be able to run a lot against the Packers. That'd be up to Fields, though.
You like this Fields?
I do. I love Fields. He'll continue to grow. He'll continue to learn. You know, the game will continue to slow down for him. But yeah, shout out Khalil Herbert, VTech guy too, by way of
Kansas.
Oregon, right? I thought he transferred from Oregon.
I thought it was a Jayhawk at one.
That would be Justin Herbert.
You two sort that out. We've got lots to get to. We'll talk Justin Herbert and those Chargers cool plays, bro, coming out through Twitter.
Yeah, we're going to talk a little bit about, I don't know, that guy and also Josh Allen and maybe some of those Arizona wide receivers who deserve some credit.
We'll talk about Brady's killer year. Who's playing better football than this guy?
New brisket at Chipotle.